This is the Doctor, continuing the Battle Brothers Season 12 Anatomists playthrough. After the last episode, I took a break from Battle Brothers, and lo and behold, when I came back, I found the Black Monolith right away. But I won't be doing the battle in this episode. This will be a much shorter episode, where I want to talk a little bit about the company and my general thoughts about this origin, the Anatomists and Battle Brothers and so forth. So first, let us prepare ourselves for the final battle. We have Alejandro here with the helmet that gives him some HP regeneration and the heaviest armor I could find. So he's looking good. He's got a gazillion shields in the pocket. A bit of a shame I lost the other Fame shield with plus 25 defense. I couldn't get the magic shield. I'm just not patient enough to wait, but whatever. This will do. He's got the undead trophy. He will be all right. And next we have Aya, who is our rock star for the entire campaign. We'll talk about the brothers in a bit. The fur plating doesn't really do anything in this battle. He's better off with a different attachment. But fur plating, on the other hand, is supremely good against barbarians. I can give him the horn plate. That might actually be the best, but hold on. I'll figure that out later. Geralt here. He's got the horn plating, and he's just got a crappy leather scale armor. Unfortunately, I wanted to give him some sort of like perfect nimble armor plus the horn plating. Preferably a famed armor, but I don't think like I have gear that can do that. So he's gonna have to do with fencing sword, leather scaled armor, reproach of the old gods, and a net that he can shift around a little bit. Rageous is coming on this battle. The bone plating is perfect for him. B-Res is here with the attachment that helps him resist the mind attacking abilities of the priest, so that's perfect. Rhubarb is here as well. Got a bone plating. I think that's appropriate. Aspen. See, Aspen needs the ability to resist the attacks using the protective runes and sigil. It's just a real shame to like unequip his other armor. So you know what? This is what we're gonna do. I have Goober here. Goober is going to get the protective runes and sigil on his Isharok armor, and he is going to be a fatigue neutral type build. Very low hit points, but you don't really need hit points against the undead. The classic type of Battle Forge with low hit points is fine against them because they have very little armor penetration. Plus, he looks great with his red helmet and the armor of the Isharok. So, I was going to give him a very specific set of perks that I need to look up because it's been a while. Alright, I did have to look up Goober. He's unusual because he's not really going to be a fatigue neutral. Aya is the actual classic fatigue neutral build, except you don't take fast adaptation normally. I just took it because like I was desperate to hit stuff. But with the exception of fast adaptation, everything else about Aya is perfectly standard when it comes to fatigue neutral. However, the Goober does not need fearsome. He's going to fight the undead, so it's completely irrelevant. Killing Frenzy, on the other hand, could be good. I give him Brawny. He might actually get a little berserk frenzy value, but I don't really think it's worth it. So I am just going to give him some standard perks like Pathfinder, Quick Cans. He's going to use a mace, two-handed maces, always nice. Mace Mastery, Underdog, of course, Battle Forged, Killing Frenzy. Now he has 3 perks left. He has, normally you want to go Steel Brow so you don't like die right to headshots, but what does that matter, right? Like, because he's not fighting barbarians who can like one-shot him on the head or something like that. Normally fatigue neutrals are kind of tanky. Will get you gifted. And he's got the protective runes and sigil. He's also got he's gonna quaff a potion, so he'll be fine with resolve. So he has 2 perks left to play with. I was gonna give him 9 lives and fast adaptation just because, like, those are the most impactful perks in this particular battle. Headhunter would be hilarious, but it doesn't really do much against the undead. And reach advantage, no point. So let's do the old fast adaptation, and I will do the 9 lives. Why not? Give him 1 extra hit. Guards against his low hit points. And then we have Nataros here, Nogrod, and Krog. Is there anyone who I can give the Kraken plating to? It's almost certainly better on this armor, but thematically, this is just too beautiful. I actually think the Kraken plating is... Okay, I'm going to attach it to Alejandro's armor. I just want to see, like, the most insane damage reduction. I think the 10% damage reduction is better than the extra Lindworm armor. Alright, so his total armor goes down a little bit, but he gains a little more fatigue, and critically, the minus 10% damage stacking with Battleforge should be absolutely insane. Next, Garrow. We're going to load him up on every single potion known to man and cure him with the water skin. So, have every potion we got. You're sick for 44 to 46 days. No problem. Let's keep going. Second wind potion. And another lion heart. And a cat potion. It's just like really load you up on every single possible thing. And then water skin that away. Oh yeah. Garrow is a witcher ready for battle. Yes, this will be interesting. Buffed up with every single thing known to the Anatomists. And he can resurrect, and he's got all sorts of insanity going on for him. Other folks who need potions. Now, Alejandro can't actually... he can't actually flee. But I'm still going to give him a potion because Wavering will lower his defense, and I want to make sure he doesn't have defense problems. So he'll have a Lion Heart. Aya might actually be okay. Rageous will definitely need a Lion Heart. He's literally like one of my best brothers right now, despite the fact he is a servant. With like these are the stats that get you killed on the Black Monolith, but you know what? Who cares? B-Res for sure. Aspen for sure. This is why I stash up all these potions. Tormach for sure. Uber. Yes. I actually am not going to give a potion to Nogrod. It's just not necessary. And then Krog. Okay. Most everybody is buffed up with potions to help them resist. I could give like Nataros a strange mushroom. That'd be quite interesting. But I don't really know if that's necessary. You know what? Everyone else is using a potion. Why shouldn't Nataros and Rhubarb use some strange mushrooms, you know? They don't need defense on this battle. Like, if they get into melee, Rhubarb can footwork and Nataros is just dead, so... plus, I don't really care if anyone lives or dies. I think those are all the preparations I wanted to make for this battle. So next, I want to just celebrate the accomplishments of the company. I also think the fashion choice is fine on everyone. I don't really care to change anything anymore. Everybody has a dog, right? Goober, he can't really use a dog. His fatigue's too low. But everybody else has a dog, yeah, okay. Or like the undead trinket. Perfect. So, let us talk about the company. First, we have Aya, who I know the attachment is like objectively worse than the Lindworm Cloak scale, but whatever. He has been, in 105 days, 266 battles. So, that is an average of 2.6 battles, or let's round down, 2.5 battles a day, which I think is insane. Like, the first about 40 days, I think it's the first like 20-something episodes in this series, was me trying super hard to min-max. If you want to find the best example of min-maxing for like in-game day efficiency. I don't think you're going to find a better example than the first 40 days of this campaign. Like, I actually tried unbelievably hard. All the battles, even the simple ones, I tweaked the loadout so that I can maximize like efficiency in terms of getting loot and reducing damage. There were 2 insane fights, the one against the mercenary company on around day 20, and then the 15 bounty hunter fight in the forest. Like, those 2, I think, are harder than any legendary fights. Just don't do them. It's not really worth it. I've actually fought those before offline, so I knew what I was expecting, and I was like crazy paranoid. Like, you saw me like tweak the equipment over and over again because I knew something super bad could happen. And then I felt like I had maybe a 20 to 25% chance of wiping both battles, which is too high. Like, my risk tolerance is 0%. But you know what? They made for good content. And otherwise, all the brothers are incredible. Alejandro, I can't believe I almost dismissed you. You are possibly the best Battleforge tank I've ever had, despite having 0 stars in melee defense. Thanks to your paranoia and tiny paranoid, by the way, coming from the Taros. Aya, the classic fatigue neutral, just very, very strong. Geralt loaded up with a gazillion potions. Not the strongest build objectively, but it's going to be fun watching him like use a lightning sword. The recovery potion is actually quite important, so he can always swing twice with his sword no matter what. Rages. Here's a great example of a day 1 hire. He's also been with the company for 105 days. And like, his stats, completely unimpressive. But somehow he has 163 battles and 203 kills. Very good attack. It's just his defenses are kind of, low. And he's kind of quote-unquote fatigue neutral nimble, but that's not really accurate. He's just the classic, like, early game, quick hands, nimble two-hander. Is very, very solid. He's also got Survivor, which apparently has never even procced for him. But, he's probably not going to live through the monolith. But you know what? He had a heroic life for us. Like, he did so much. I was going to use him to fight the Barbarian King until like, Aya came along. Like, I kind of didn't want to risk Aya, but, like, if Aya weren't the first choice, like, Rages would actually be my second choice. But yeah, a brother like this, being a day 1 higher, is good enough for the Black Monolith. And then you have B-Res. Oh my gosh, what can you say about B-Res? His attack, not the most impressive, but a sword compensates for that. 49 melee defense. That is unreal. A little low on hit points, but what does that matter when you just kill everything with your Iron Lungs and Sword Mastery, so you can always swing twice. And this Fame Sword is sickeningly good with Duelists. Like, he's just ignoring... Wow, look at that. 0 to 45 damage can ignore armor. He's just a complete beast. 165 battles, 313 kills. Like, he's almost got enough kills as Aya, despite the fact that he's like 100 battles lower. He is absolutely insane. Rhubarb. What can we say about Rhubarb? The man, the athlete, the legend, who kited that Orc Warlord champion on, I don't know what day, it was like 30 or 40 or whatever, and single-handedly won that battle for us just with his kiting skills. Phenomenal stuff, Rhubarb. Aspen, the two-handed flail, like one-shotting Chosen. He has no hit points. You're not supposed to make Battleforge brothers with no hit points, right? Everybody tells you, like, if I posted this to Reddit, every single person would be like, you have no idea what you're doing in this game. Or maybe it's that nobody, except me, has any idea what's going on in this game. Despite his 0 hit points, doesn't matter. Like, he's not in any danger. Why? He's got a big weapon that one-shot stuff, and he's got 9 lives. Just in case. You know what you don't do with Aspen? You don't sit him in the middle of 4 Chosen and let them whack at him. That's how you get him killed. Aya, well, you don't really want to sit Aya there too. Alejandro, you can sit in the middle of 4 Chosen, let them whack at him. But not Aspen. And most people want to use their Battleforge brothers like that. And then they get their Battleforged brothers killed, and it's like, why? Well, it's because you let him sit in the middle of 4 chosen to like get killed. And then Tormach, oh my god. This rat catcher, insecure rat catcher, but with some of the most insane stars I've ever seen. And the most sickeningly good duelist weapon of all times. This duelist weapon, 57 to 90 damage, 0 to 57 can ignore armor. This is like basically a two-handed cleaver in one hand. That's how insanely good this weapon is. And it's more fatigue efficient, so you can always swing twice with Iron Lungs. It's so strong. I actually gave him a Orc Cleaver because he actually has a potion that reduces fatigue use for Orc weapons, so he can always swing twice with this. Because I'm pretty sure the durability on this thing is gonna like break in the Black Monolith. So I actually gave him a backup weapon just in case. It caused him a little fatigue, like it caused him 1 Berserk proc, but you know, just in case that breaks. The Orc Cleaver, like this weapon, the Gasher, is better than an Orc Cleaver. The Orc Cleaver doesn't have like base damage, but it has base ignore armor. But this is better than an Orc Cleaver. That is how insanely good this weapon is. And then we have Goober, Swordmaster, that I made into not a classic fatigue neutral, a Black Monolith specific fatigue neutral. There's also a hidden reason why I did this, because with a mace, you can stun the guy, the Conqueror. Conqueror is vulnerable to stuns, so, you know, just in case, we have that. Then we have Nataros, just very solid hybrid. Weird choices, I know. No Berserk. And I took Hit Hunter instead, which I think has been great, and Anticipation. Normally regarded as a garbage perk, but came in handy against all the goblins and the nomads and whatnot that we fought. We have Nogra. He's loaded up with water because he's a monk. Insane monk with 3 stars resolve. So he has plenty of resolve for us. Kind of a weird build. I don't know if I love it. It's not really that like good enough to tank. Like 39 defense. It's like fine, but his like hit points is kind of low. And like you don't really want to use someone like this for Ingdoming. But he'll do in a pinch. You never know. You could do something. Resolve is truly outstanding though. And then Krog, kind of a experimental build. Low defense, but he has dodge to compensate for it a little bit. Low initiative though. So, but his real power is he can swap to a hammer whenever the situation demands it. And he has a second. I'm actually tempted to give this water to like Garrow, but no, he'll just keep the 2 holy waters in his inventory. Throw a net and then stab away with the spear. Hammers, the holy water, all good stuff. All good stuff for Krog. Fashion-wise, like, it's not perfect. I really hate breaking up the Izurok set, but I'll say Goober looks great. Aya looks great. Garrow, unfortunate. We couldn't find you good armor. B-Res is golden armor, looks beautiful. Rhubarb and Nataros both look fine. Oh, by the way, I've given them each a stat, only 1 stack of throwing weapons and a sword because Necro Savants and a net, and they've got bill hooks and the rage, so they don't really need throwing weapons. Aspen, I love this Lindworm look, even though he's never going to melee a Lindworm, but looks beautiful. Oh, Tormach just looks so incredible. With this Nimble Forge nonsense, but it looks so beautiful in this. I can't believe this chosen helmet, famed helmet drop. Like, it really is just like incredible. He looks like a character out of Warhammer. But who can forget our other brothers? Low setting, the cultist, who we had early game, and he did a lot of work for us. I believe he fought against the librarian and not Nogrod. I think so. He's mad, but unfortunately he didn't get us the book. Still, just a very solid early game bannerman. Anticipation, so he has some value in the fights against Gobbles. You just put it on the front, let them shoot him. Klaus, very standard nimble tank, just did a phenomenal job the entire run. It's 37 base defense though. So not super impressive, to be honest. For a tank, that's actually pretty bad. You look at like the defenses of most of my like brothers who aren't even like tanks. They have more defense than him. But you know what? Does a perfectly solid job. He's been in how many battles? 162. No kills, but you know. So you don't really need much to make a nimble tank, which is why they're so good. Lord Irva. Oh, it's a shame he's not coming on this fight, although he would die like right away. But he's got so much value the entire run. 131 battles, stunning things left and right. He was instrumental in certain early fights with the fast adaptation backstabber and a mace. He's pretty much guaranteed to stun whatever you sick him on. And relentless, he can go fast. It's pretty powerful to have one super good stunner early game. Locks down dangerous enemies like Hexen, Hedge Knights, Fallen Heroes, that sort of thing. Pendant, oh my gosh, Pendant. Do you remember Raptura, who died? Like, Pendant just did a phenomenal job carrying on Raptura's legacy. Power Mastery, just a master at killing goblins. Like, 120 battles and 201 kills, very impressive. His stats are, you know, besides attack, completely unimpressive, but you don't need stats as long as you have attack. All the other stats, whatever, who cares? And then we have Mons. It's going to make you into a Catal duelist, but unfortunately we never actually found a Catal dagger. He's going to be like, what was that character from last season who had the Catal dagger? I forget his name, but it was a pretty fun build. Just like the standard Catal attacker. Very strong. Maverick, I can't believe you didn't die in the Goblin Cities. You just missed a finger. Again, Nomad. Doesn't have stars in the right places, but still high starting stats, right? Despite his missing finger, still very, very, very good final stats. Just low hit points and no dodge, so he's gonna die as soon as he gets hits a few times. But before then, he can just cleave away and kill everything before they can attack him. Bob the Beast, he was definitely clutch in several battles. Remember, he killed that Lindworm. He tanked a Lindworm with his overwhelm nonsense. Pretty clutch. Like, if that's all he did, that's good enough for me. And then we have Flurpaderp, another hybrid, this time with a crossbow. Just doing a good job in general as a beast hunter. Shooting gobbles left and right. 165 kills. I'm just looking through the kills real quick. Wow, look at that Maverick. 281 kills. Not a surprise there. So Aya has the most so far, like 200 on Rages, 313 on B-Res. B-Res is unbelievable. Aspen and B-Res, almost neck and neck. Aspen 305. Krog, he's kind of a control character. Tormach came late, but he's like getting lots of kills. And Goober, he hasn't really done much yet, but he'll do something in the Black Monolith. And Nataros did very well, of course. Hybrids, usually very good at killing. But Aya, not surprisingly, he has the most just because he's been in the most battles. But Aya, B-Res, and Aspen are all like insane characters. And with that, going through the company, let's celebrate some of our fallen brothers here. Oops, not the retinue, the obituary. Remember, the Mountain. I got him killed by serpents. I was super salty when that happened. I realized, like, super soldiers aren't for me, okay? He was not super enough. He was missing, like, at least 2/3 of the potions he needs to be able to fight all those snakes by himself. But, that's alright. Then we have Gospin. He was in a couple battles. He got shot by a Nomad Archer. I remember it was during that, like, day 35-ish when I just chain fought those gigantic Nomad camps without pausing. So, you know, some sacrifices were required. And then remember Mortimer? Oh, one of our starting brothers. He died holding that hill like an absolute hero. Round after round against the bounty hunters before he finally bled to death from a whip. Like, of all things, he was just like standing on top of that hill with Alejandro, not letting anyone pass. Absolute hero. And then, who could forget like that insane mercenary fight? PF, one of our early game beggars, did a fantastic job in general, like being an early game tank. got insane value out of him, and then he got hammered by a mercenary, but what do you expect? He did exactly what his job was supposed to be. I think I got maximum value out of him. And Raptura, oh, those mercenaries, man. With fast adaptation, they don't miss. They just like 3-shot your backline. Raptura was, it's going to be really good for us, but you know, it is what it is for fighting those mercenaries. And there were a couple other brothers that I have written down. There was Stasiates. Remember him? He was the traumatized, I think he was a grave digger. Maybe he was a grave robber. I forget exactly, but he fought the mercenaries as well. He got traumatized, but he still served us very faithfully before I dismissed him without pay because morale doesn't matter in this origin. But you know what? If he's still around, I'd be happy to give him some of my 68,000 crowns. He can have like 10,000 of it just for being such a fun sport. Who else did I have from early game? Just looking through some of I wrote down the names of all the brothers I have. There was Paul Soul, remember him? The dastard fisherman. Gave him fast adaptation, quick hands, and dodge. He like daggered, or he helped dagger that hedge knight right before the bounty hunters. Just incredible. He did so much work for us early game, just with fast adaptation and throwing weapons. He had like absolute trash stats. So you don't really need that many brothers with good stats. There was OMG Pop, the giant shepherd with no defense, but I gave him the orc potion at first. And he had a gazillion hit points. He's just standing there with his flail, like doing a great job. And then lastly, there was TVO. I think he was around for only a few episodes. He was an insecure day tailor. Didn't really do too much because he had like 50 starting attack and like 1 defense with 2 stars. But I think he fought a couple early battles before I ran out of space and I had to dismiss him. So all the brothers I felt did well. Early game especially, I felt like I got maximum value out of pretty much every brother. And if you want to like min-max the early game and you don't care about real world time efficiency, I think the first maybe 25 episodes or so were really good. And that brings me to the last part of this episode, which is like, I'll be honest, after the first 25 days, and I remember those, like, the battles there, like the first battles against brigand thugs, daggering all the armor in multiple raider fights, like I got very lucky. There was a battle against, like, 14 dire wolves when I had 12 guys, crazy dangerous, but I actually won it very smoothly. There was the mercenary battle, which was like absolutely insane. I think I sat there for like 45 minutes not making a move because I was desperately trying to think of a way to win the battle without risk, but I couldn't. There was the battle against the hedge knight with the perfect taunt. I believe it was Klaus, or no, it was Stasiates, I think, who did the taunt. He was still around and he had taunt. We taunted the hedge knight into the perfect low ground position and daggers out, and that's when we got the Bardiche, which I think I still have right here. That was from the hedge knight, and Aya used that for quite a while. In fact, he used it in the next fight against the insane 15 bounty hunters where we lost Mortimer. I'm actually quite shocked I didn't lose anyone else. And then I went and fought many large nomad camps using anticipation. But I honestly don't really remember anything after that. It was like an orc warlord fight where Rhubarb ran away successfully, kiting the orc warlord champion. But I'll be honest, I don't really remember anything after that. It was just, I remember some bad fights, like I remember killing a lot of goblins. They weren't bad. They were just like pretty easy because I had anticipation. And then I remember there was an orc camp that I just like misplayed. I just like charged the orcs, like, you know, 99% of players, and I got several brothers in trouble. And then the next couple orc fights, I like did it my way, the way where you have to think a little bit, and like I took almost no damage. Like it's just tactics. Like otherwise the company was more or less the same. yeah, I really don't remember that much after the first 40 days, unfortunately. All the legendary fights were completely forgettable. I just remember on the Goblin City, I really wanted to use all 3 fire bombs and I couldn't. Don't really remember any of the other fights, to be honest. And I do have a comment about the Anatomists like origin. It in the early game, I think is maybe not the very early game. You do get a lot of money to hire guys, but after the very early game, I think this is like the hardest origin by far. You have very few potions, and you can't get confident, meaning morale problems are so rampant. Like Geist normally are not a problem as soon as you get a Bannerman, but there were fights where I was close to chain routing. I just didn't like treat the Geist very seriously. And that was a problem. Even against like the regular enemies. As soon as they move up, your guys just start like wavering like crazy. If they get hit, they waver like crazy. And wavering is so bad in this game. I was able to salvage the situations, but it can cause the chain routing problems, which is how you lose pretty much. It's how I beat like the early game enemies. I chain route them. That's why I love dagger punctures. Not for the armor, but because you proc a morale check and you can chain route. And the routing like can happen super quick. There was a battle very early on. It was against Brigand Thugs, but like I got to the point where most of them were wavering and fleeing, and then I made one move and like it routed like 8 of them simultaneously. That is what can happen to your company here. I played quite aggressively in general. I think that helped minimize the routing problems. You just gotta be like crazy aggressive. And then that brings me to the potions. I think the potion that was by far the most impactful early game is this shield wall potion that gives you basically the ability to infinite shield wall. That is actually insanely strong. Easily like you pretty much need that to have any effectiveness early game, because you can have a guy with shield expert and a heater shield, and as long as you're shield walling, you have 50 base defense. Let's say you got like 10 more defense from gifted and like level ups, so you have 60 defense at level 4. That is crazy, and you never have to worry about stamming out. Like that is super strong. And then the next potion, this footwork potion, I admit, at first I thought it was complete garbage, but it's actually incredibly useful for kiting. Like just kiting that Orc Warlord champion, just for that one fight, it was worth it. Just for that one fight. And I think I've gotten more value than that. Otherwise, you know, you can build a super soldier like we have Geralt here. He's not even loaded with like... There are other potions I would have preferred to give him. But, you know... I didn't know about all the potions, and I didn't really want to like spend time thinking about it. I mean, there's a lot of these potions are clearly super strong, like the Lore Keeper's potion or the like this thing from the Kraken plus 50 hit points. That's insane. There is the potion that gives you like healing. Those potions are all insane. The Necro Savant potion, the Unhold potion, like they're all very, very good. And I do feel like by the late game, like here, the potions do compensate for the confident weakness. In fact, I think they make up for not having confident pretty significantly. So I thought being not confident would be such a crippling problem, but with these potions, it is actually not so bad. And I think the potions do actually make you stronger. Better players than me when it comes to like builds, I'm sure I've figured out like the optimal distribution of potions to use. I really don't care about that stuff. I do like the normal origins where you don't have to worry about the potions. I felt like I spent half the time with some of these brothers like Geralt just like not doing anything because I was waiting for the potion sickness to wear off. That's kind of annoying. But yeah, and my last comment is just I enjoyed the early part of this run a lot, but after a while, like, it just got uninteresting for me when it comes to fighting the legendary locations. I'm not saying I won't do another Battle Brothers run after this, but I think it would have to be one of two things. One, it would have to be some sort of not competition, but like a bunch of players, like Somewhere Sins or Carvajal or Gravebees and other players. Like, we all play on the same map, but we're not going to have a specific objective. But we play on the same map in Origin, of course. And we just like let the game play out according to our different styles. So like Sins, you'll probably see him like in 10 real world hours get to like the Black Monolith, whereas I would be on day 10 fighting like Brigand Raiders. And Gravebees can like preach the virtue of his like super efficient builds and crush the game with those. And Carvajal can probably make some guides about like how you should optimize your early game, which I think could benefit a lot of viewers who want to learn more about that stuff. And me, I'm just gonna do like role play stuff. I feel like at this stage, that's what I care about in Battle Brothers. I had the most fun dressing up my brothers. I'm still gonna fight and beat everything, but I'm not gonna comment so much about like the specific build reasons or the specific like loading up of gear. I know I've had viewers who want to hear me like go an hour into explaining that stuff, but I don't know, like there'd be like 3 people in the world who could like appreciate it. Or I just feel like a lot more players or a lot more viewers would appreciate just like watching the brothers do their thing in style. They'll look good. They're gonna take more Headhunter just because decapitation animations are so fun to watch. Is probably the most satisfying thing in this game is watching things get decapitated. I have so little Headhunter this run. Like, you imagine a run where like almost everybody has Headhunter. That'd be so fun. Other fun builds like Rhubarb, or I've always wanted to make a guy with a crossbow and a dagger, just like roleplay a witch hunter. They're all gonna be like suboptimal builds, but they'll be like tons and tons of fun. And I would probably do something like, if I would do another series, it would probably be some sort of like Witcher thing where on day 100 I could like fight all the legendary locations without buying tools. Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I don't think it's actually, well, it's possible if you keep like entire inventory full of backup armor, just like have like 50 armors, but in between I would expect to fight like regular camps to replenish my tool supply. Maybe give myself a limit of like 30 days to beat all the legendary locations or something like that. I don't know. I did have a lot of fun with the Witcher's challenge, because then like every fight matters to some extent. But yeah, next run, don't know when that'll be, but it will be very heavily focused on just role-playing and having a good time and not trying super hard like this run. And with that said, this is a good place to end this episode. But in the next episode, we will end this campaign one way or another at the Black Monolith. I'm pretty sure I can't actually lose, but you never know. Maybe I'll die horribly. Everyone is expendable except Geralt, because you need like one surviving brother, right? You can't actually lose all 12 guys. But as long as Geralt lives and everyone else dies, I'm okay with that. Alright, thank you for watching. Until next time.